Welcome to the History of Simple Things, where we delve into the fascinating history behind the little things that shape our world. Welcome! Today we're diving deep into a topic that might seem mundane at first glance, but is actually rich with historical significance and cultural evolution. The history of underwear. When did humans start wearing underwear? And how has it evolved over the centuries? This journey will take us from ancient civilizations to the modern day, exploring the myriad reasons behind this fundamental piece of clothing. So sit back, relax, and let's uncover the fascinating history of underwear. The concept of underwear likely dates back to the dawn of human civilization. Early humans, who lived as hunter-gatherers, wore simple garments made from animal skins and furs to protect themselves from the elements. These early forms of clothing served primarily for warmth and protection rather than modesty. However, as societies began to form and develop, so did the complexity and purpose of their clothing. One of the earliest known examples of what could be considered underwear comes from ancient Egypt. Around 3000 BCE, Egyptians started wearing a simple loincloth called a shendyt. Made from linen, the shendyt was wrapped around the hips and secured with a belt. It was worn by men of all social classes, from laborers to pharaohs. For women, a similar garment called a kalasiris was worn, which was a sheath dress often worn underneath a more elaborate outer garment. Moving forward to ancient Greece and Rome, we see a more developed use of underwear. Greek men wore a perizoma, which was a type of loincloth similar to the Egyptian shendyt. This garment was often worn by athletes during competitions, highlighting the importance of mobility and comfort in their design. In Rome, both men and women wore a type of loincloth called a subligaculum. For men, it was typically worn underneath a tunic, while women wore it beneath their stola, a long dress. Additionally, Roman women wore a strophium or mamillare, which was a band of cloth wrapped around the chest, functioning much like a modern-day bra. These garments were made from linen or wool, reflecting the materials available and the climate they lived in. The medieval period saw significant changes in the concept and construction of underwear. During this time, the primary undergarment for both men and women in Europe was the chemise or shift. Made from linen, this long, loose-fitting shirt was worn directly against the skin. For men, it was often accompanied by braies, which were loose-fitting trousers that tied at the waist and knee. Women, on the other hand, wore their chemise under long gowns. Another significant development during this period was the codpiece. Originally designed to cover the opening in men's hose, which were essentially tights, the codpiece evolved into a prominent feature of men's fashion in the 15th and 16th centuries. Often padded and decorated, it served both a practical purpose and a display of masculinity and virility. The Renaissance brought about further changes and refinements in underwear. The chemise remained a staple for both men and women, but the introduction of new fabrics like cotton and silk provided more options for comfort and luxury. Men's braies evolved into more fitted breeches, and women began to wear corsets or stays, which were designed to shape the body and provide support. Corsets became increasingly elaborate during this period, made from materials like whalebone and steel to achieve the desired shape. This was also the time when the farthingale, a hoop skirt, became popular. Worn under skirts, the farthingale created a wide, structured silhouette that became synonymous with the fashion of the time. The 18th century, marked by the Enlightenment and colonial expansion, brought about significant changes in underwear. Men's fashion saw the introduction of drawers, which were knee-length underpants that replaced the older braies. These were typically made of linen or cotton and were much more fitted, offering greater comfort and ease of movement. For women, the corset remained a crucial part of their wardrobe, but it evolved in design. The stays became more rigid and were often reinforced with metal boning. Additionally, women began to wear petticoats under their dresses, which provided additional layers of warmth and modesty. This period also saw the emergence of the chemises, a type of short chemise worn around the neck and shoulders. adding another layer to the complex system of women's undergarments. The Victorian era brought about some of the most significant changes in the history of underwear, particularly for women. This period was characterized by a heightened sense of modesty and propriety, which was reflected in the elaborate and restrictive nature of women's clothing. Corsets reached new levels of complexity and discomfort during this time, with tight lacing practices becoming more common to achieve the desired hourglass figure. These corsets were often made with steel boning and tightly laced to cinch the waist. Underneath their voluminous skirts, women wore multiple layers of petticoats, crinolines, and bustles to create the fashionable silhouette of the time. For men, the Victorian era saw the widespread adoption of long johns or union suits, which were one-piece garments made from wool or cotton. These provided warmth and coverage from the neck to the ankles, reflecting the era's emphasis on modesty. As we moved into the Edwardian era in the early 20th century, the trend towards more practical and comfortable underwear began to take hold. For women, the S-bend corset became popular, which pushed the chest forward and the hips back, creating an S-shaped silhouette. However, this was also the period when the move towards looser and less restrictive undergarments started to gain momentum. The introduction of the brassiere, which evolved from the earlier strophium and mammalara, marked a significant shift in women's underwear. In 1914, Mary Phelps Jacob patented the first modern bra, which was made from 2 handkerchiefs and a ribbon. This invention offered women a more comfortable and practical alternative to the corset. Men's underwear also continued to evolve with the introduction of more comfortable and practical designs. Boxers and briefs began to replace the older long johns, offering greater freedom of movement and comfort. The 1920s marked a radical shift in fashion and social norms, which was reflected in the evolution of underwear. Women embraced more liberated styles, discarding the restrictive corsets of the past. The brassiere became more popular, with designs becoming more sophisticated and supportive. The flapper dress, with its straight, loose silhouette, required minimal undergarments. Women began wearing camisoles and tap pants, which were loose-fitting shorts, providing comfort and freedom of movement. This period also saw the introduction of the girdle, a more flexible alternative to the corset, which helped to smooth and shape the body without the rigid structure of earlier designs. Men's underwear continued to evolve as well, with the introduction of elastic waistbands and new materials like rayon, which provided greater comfort and fit. Boxer shorts, inspired by the shorts worn by professional boxers, became increasingly popular. The mid-20th century brought about significant innovations in underwear design and materials. The invention of nylon and other synthetic fabrics revolutionized the industry, providing new options for comfort, durability, and fit. In the 1940s and 1950s, the bullet bra became popular, characterized by its pointed cups and structured design. This style was often associated with the glamorous Hollywood starlets of the time. Girdles and stockings remained a staple of women's underwear, providing shaping and support. For men, the 1950s saw the introduction of the brief, or tighty-whities, which offered a snug fit and greater support. This period also saw the rise of the undershirt as a standard part of men's underwear, providing an extra layer of warmth and protection for outer garments. The sexual revolution of the 1960s led to more relaxed attitudes toward sex and nudity, which in turn influenced underwear design. Women's underwear became more varied and colorful, with the introduction of new styles like the bikini panty and thong. The rise of feminism also had an impact, with many women rejecting the restrictive undergarments of the past in favor of more natural and comfortable options. Men's underwear also saw changes during this period with the introduction of new styles and fabrics. The development of lycra and other stretch fabrics provided greater comfort and fit. Boxer briefs, which combined the support of briefs with the coverage of boxers, became a popular choice. The 1980s and 1990s saw the rise of the fitness craze, which had a significant impact on underwear design. The popularity of aerobics and other forms of exercise led to the development of new materials and styles that offered greater support and comfort during physical activity. For women, the sports bra became an essential piece of underwear, providing support and reducing movement during exercise. The development of moisture-wicking fabrics also helped to keep the body cool and dry during workouts. Men's underwear also saw innovations, with the introduction of performance fabrics and new styles like the jockstrap, which provided support and protection during sports. The rise of designer underwear brands also brought greater attention to style and fashion, with many men opting for more colorful and fashionable options. In the 21st century, the evolution of underwear has continued to be influenced by changes in fashion, technology, and social attitudes. For women, the emphasis has been on comfort and versatility, with the rise of bralettes and seamless underwear. These styles provide support and coverage without the need for underwires or bulky seams. The history of underwear is not just a story of changing fashions and technological innovations, it is also a reflection of broader cultural and social changes. Throughout history, underwear has been influenced by changes in attitudes towards modesty, sexuality, and gender roles. In many cultures, underwear has been used as a tool for shaping and controlling the body, reflecting societal ideals of beauty and propriety. The corset, for example, was used to shape the female body to conform to the fashion ideals of different periods, often at the expense of comfort and health. The evolution of men's underwear has also been influenced by changing attitudes towards masculinity and sexuality. The history of underwear is a fascinating journey through time, reflecting changes in fashion, technology, and social attitudes. From the simple loincloths of ancient Egypt to the high-tech fabrics of today, underwear has evolved in countless ways, providing comfort, support, and style to people throughout history. As we continue to innovate and develop new materials and designs, it will be interesting to see how the future of underwear unfolds. Whether it's through advances in fabric technology, changes in fashion trends, or shifts in cultural attitudes, the story of underwear is far from over. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of underwear. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.